heading on my way to see Smile 2. And we'll see how it is. Hello there, namaste. So I gotta be honest, Smile 2 doesn't really feel like it hits the same way the first one does. So the way I view it is, what happens if mental illness was contagious? I mean, that alone is a scary thought, because mental illness, like the different kinds, what it can do to a mind, imagine if you could catch that. The world would be a much different place. So I think that's why it worked for me in the first one. In the film, I gotta say, I'm not really enjoying it. I liked how it started, because it literally starts off with the officer from the first film. He's just trying to pass it on to someone else, get rid of it. And he succeeds. Ends up, he gives it to a drug dealer, who ends up giving it to a pop star, a pop idol who has a history from like a year back. She got in a car accident and sobered up, cleaned her act up, and is gonna go on tour once again. So Smile basically got the perfect target, someone who could lend him thousands of views, thousands of faces to pass on to. And it's going on to that route. But I gotta say, this film has more jump scares. Like in the first film, it's more suspenseful than anything. It's not really jump scares. There are points where it's like the door opens and it stays open and it stays open and it stays open, and then it slowly closes or fast closes. And it's like, those who are so used to seeing horror films, you're expecting something to jump out at you, and nothing. But it's the lack of sound which really does bother as well, because everything's just quiet. The door closes. Like, no one lives their life in absolute silence. So when you're in a theater and you're hearing nothing but like a simple door close or a floor creak, it does build the suspense, which I liked in the first one. In this one, it's got a lot of the same stuff, but it focuses more on the jump scare aspect. And I'm not a big fan of jump scares. There are a few in Smile 2 that work, but for the most part, the film ends after the second act. And this is a spoiler, I guess, but everything after the second act doesn't matter to the story. That's how I'm gonna say it. It doesn't matter to the story, and it's aggravating when that happens. I don't like it where it's like, why are you showing me all this if it doesn't serve a purpose? Like, I guess you could say even her origin story, her past on the car accident she got into, that doesn't hold to the story, but it kind of shows her character. It kind of shows why she gave up on drugs and alcohol, why she has these gruesome images in her head to prevent her from, oh, that pile of cocaine sitting on the table, I am not going to snort it, because that's what pops into her head. And I gotta say, I enjoy so it does add to the story. It's just, after a certain point, the story doesn't really progress any. And it is funny because the whole thing, it kind of feels like a musical, kind of feels like behind the scenes making of type of thing, because she's a pop star. She's going to go on tour again, so they're doing all the dance routines. They're doing all that stuff. They're emulating all that. And I gotta say, it was interesting to watch. It just like, okay, so they're doing this dance routine. She's doing like a starfish, and they're being twirled around in everyone's hands. Where's the jump scare gonna be? Or it was just interesting. It's like several things are put in that don't really add to the story, but they add to her character, which I'm okay with. The one thing I gotta say, her best friend, I didn't enjoy the acting. Like the Bang actress, I was okay with how he acted, or how she acted. Even her gay friend. And what's with these Smile films and having like not a single strong black male character? It's just, in the first film, it was just the boyfriend who was just this. He was white, let's be honest. He was white. And then in this film, it's just like the gay best friend. I'm like, come on. And I don't want to say that the prisoner, because that's just going too far. But it's just, I gotta say, it's kind of funny. It's kind of funny because I can't think of anyone else in the film. But I gotta say, it did add, and the mother, who, I don't know. This is the problem I have with the whole final act. I don't know. I had the feeling that the mother cared more about the financial aspect her daughter was bringing than her daughter alone. The problem is, we're seeing that through a filtered lens is that really the case? Or are we just seeing hallucinations? Or what's the other perspective? Because the time I was like, yep, I was absolutely right with what I was feeling. Turns out that all those things that happened didn't matter to the story, and I'm just like, oh, that's freaking dumb. So does her mother care or doesn't she? Because there are scenes where her mother's like trying to push her to do things, but then she's all, you know what? You gotta take care of yourself. You could be honest with me. Did you fall off the wagon? All this kind of stuff. You know, trying to listen to, like, you need to talk to me about this stuff. I was like, okay, then we can do this for Darius. It's just all those little things. And there's something about these Smile films. They're bringing in the new cast for House. They had, forgot his name, but they had him in the first one as the doctor. In the second film, they have Tobe. I forgot his name in House. The plastic surgeon. They brought in the plastic surgeon. And what? In the third film, are they gonna bring in 13? Is she gonna be like a side character in the film? I mean, it is funny for those who have seen House, just seeing all these characters pop up. It's like, oh, that's where I've only known him from. That's where I've seen him from. That's where I've seen him from. But I gotta say, like, there are a lot of things. Like, I was hoping the person who's trying to help her out would be in reference to something we had already seen, not making up a new person. This person, apparently, his brother took out his own face with a crowbar. I was thinking it was going to be the person that took gardening shears and sheared off half his face. I was thinking that was going to be his brother, but no, it was a new version, a new person. I'm like, okay, whatever. It don't matter. It don't matter no more. But I do enjoy it in the beginning, because even though the behind the scenes, the musical aspect, the character development of her character, and the start of it where the cop is just trying to give it to someone else, he doesn't want to die that way, he just wants to give it to someone else. I'm okay with all of that. I am okay. It's the final act of the film. Even all the jump scares that they throw into this one, kind of taking it away from what it was, because before, it's primarily a suspense. It is primarily a suspenseful film. Not so much as scary. It's just suspenseful because you don't know what's going to happen next. Because is she hallucinating? Is it really happening? What's going on here? And in this one, it's like it's primarily all about the jump scares. I'm not a big fan of that. But in here, I was like, okay, whatever. They kind of got the suspenseful aspect out in the first one. It's the third act that kills the whole film for me, because it's like you could literally just rip out that 30 minutes and boom, go to the very end of the film. Because none of that serves any purpose. It serves no purpose to furthering the story. But in the end, I do enjoy the start of the film, all the way up until the third act, and then you could just skip it to the end. Because even in the end, it's kind of like, okay, cool. There is a possibility there. There is this possibility, so we know for future for future thought that they might try to get rid of the smile, but it'll be too late at that point because, well, too many people will have it. But I gotta say, I preferred the first. I personally preferred the first. It's much slower. Oh, and I gotta get out of the way that I hate it when cameras flip upside down, and these films have that habit. Oh, and the POV, where the camera is just right in the, like this. It's right in your faces, and I'm not a fan of that. And here I'm doing it right here, but I'm not like this. That's just uncomfortable. I'm like this. I give us some space, but in this film, it's like right there, and that's uncomfortable. It's just like, oh, it feels eerie. You feel like you need to get some space, and it's a good cinematography tactic, especially when you're trying to make someone uncomfortable. Also, the flipping the camera, I would do it. Yeah, the flipping the camera upside down. I am not a fan of that. That's something that absolutely aggravates me because it just feels uncomfortable. But that's the point, which is why it's okay. The cinematography I was okay with. Oh, and in this second film, they had basically the weeping angels. Anyone who's seen Doctor Who knows exactly what I mean. Those smile, like, okay, so after This is how you know. As soon as you get to the weeping angel scene, you can skip to the end of the film. That's basically all you need to know. As soon as you get to the weeping angel scene, you skip to the end of the film, because everything after the weeping angel scene serves no purpose. Serves no purpose. Because, okay, so those who haven't seen Doctor Who, a weeping angel is like an entity that is a stone angel. It's a creature that's a stone angel and can lives because it steals people's time. It steals people's time. That's how it lives. And they cannot move if you're looking at them. But the second you look away, they move closer. They cannot move while you're looking at them, and they have a scene like that, and I was like, ooh, I like it. I like it because immediately I was reminded of the Weeping Angels, and that is one of the scariest things. You could perhaps like still going back to watching the Doctor Who David Tennant's Weeping Angels sequences. Oof, so well done, because those are still scary to this day, and that show is made for kids. Yeah, but they had a Weeping Angels scene, but after that scene, you just gotta know that everything else afterwards serves no purpose. And there's, like, I understand they were trying to build up hope, but that's the thing, that you're literally cheating people. It's the whole Twilight ending sequence. Oh, just so you know, everything was a dream. It doesn't matter. All that fighting, all that loss, all that caring, all the people that died that you cared about, where you felt emotion for, it didn't matter. It didn't matter. I hate that kind of stuff. So it does that here, and it's just like, I understand why, but at the same point, I'm not a fan of it. But other than that, I enjoyed the first part. I enjoyed the first part up to the Weeping Angels. After the Weeping Angels, skip to the end. That's just it. If you skip the last arc, or the third portion of the film, like the last 30 minutes, you're golden. You are golden. You shorten this film by 30 minutes, and it works. It works. Thank you all for watching. Talk to you next time. Toodles!